It's so dark. Why is it so dark in here? Good morning, y'all. We're early for a change. Well, you guys are early too. Good morning. Um, Hang on just a second. Can you see us okay? Yeah,
I can't see nothing.
you can't see nothing. I know the sun's bright in our eyes. But anyways, grab your coffee or your tea or your water. No soda in this early in the morning. It's too early for Coke. Um, I'm a mama to everybody. If you're joining us for the very first time, welcome. We apologize in advance. I'm Amber,
I'm Tim.
and
We're two of the five that moved from the city
by the
to
beach,
by the beach to the Smoky Mountains of East Tennessee,
where
where we live with our.
we live off grid.
We do. We do.
It's too early for
We
this.
live off grid.
No, actually, I've been up since 4. It's
We
not
live
too
off in the
early.
head. That's
In the mountains of East Tennessee with our children.
we have children.
We have. Are you going to be this way the whole time we're having coffee?
It's one of those days,
Lord,
man.
have mercy, son. Anyways, we apologize in advance, y'all. Thank you for joining us. And yeah, sometimes we have this is unscripted, and if y'all we're just having coffee with friends, that's what this is. It's not a show, it's not a publicity stunt. We just get on here, have coffee with y'all. Good morning, Sherry. You know, Sherry, I was wondering about you. Y'all, I'm gonna pause and talk to my friend for a minute. Y'all, Jot always shares the most amazing jokes with me, but for whatever reason, since all of this hurricane stuff in my internet, I can't see anything that he shares or anybody shares with me in Facebook Messenger anymore. I don't know what it's about, but it says I can't view it and I need to view it from the app. And it's the dumbest thing ever. So I know I'm missing out on some really good jokes. So tell him that he needs to screenshot that joker to send it to me because links and all that stuff ain't working for whatever reason. Jim posted something to share with me. What's it? Jim, the guy that got our that got our goats.
You gotta go.
I got our goats. Some of them anyhow. And yeah, his stuff isn't either. So it's just weird. So how are y'all doing this morning? And I almost, it's not I don't want to live in doom and gloom. And I know a lot of people are hurt and suffering right now, but here at this moment, it's stunningly beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I'm looking out at the Smoky Mountains with all of the beautiful, stunning fall colors that we get to see this time of year. And I almost feel guilty because it's so beautiful here right now.
Yes, it's quite a colorful palette. Sorry.
Y'all, I need to get a touch of coffee already. Go ahead, Timmy.
What?
Entertain, baby.
I'm not. I'm just saying.
It's
We were driving yesterday, and Amber just she saw this one tree,
yeah.
and it just I don't know something happened. You know, I guess it was so.
It was the most perfect tree ever of fall color.
Did y'all get that? It was the most perfect tree of fall colors.
It had every color of fall.
Every color. So it paints a pretty picture, right?
I'm sorry, y'all. Yes, good morning, honey. Hey, Benjamin. Benjamin, we were talking about you, and I got some work for you if you want to work.
Oh, it was bad.
Yeah, I got a list. So
Got a
if you want to
list.
work when you get the kids during the week and bring them over here afterwards, I'll make Lyndon babysit. And if you want to help Timmy, or if you want to pull some hours on the weekend, you just let me know, son.
Yep.
If we don't hear from you, we know you don't want any extra work, but we hear from you, you're welcome to come work.
Yes, sir. Bring your boots.
We got stuff to do. But listen, y'all. So I'm a mutt. Y'all know that. I was born in Southern California. That's where my mama's family's from. My daddy was in the military. I was an Air Force brat. Then we moved to Michigan, where my daddy was from, and bounced back and forth between California and Michigan. And then I lived over half my life down south. And when I moved from Michigan, where we had beautiful falls, short but beautiful, to down south, where they have green and nothing, and there's nothing in between. And the cold time is really, really short. And Timmy grew up without, and our children, without ever seeing the beauty of fall in all of its splendor.
I actually never grew up.
No,
I just
I can attest to that.
never.
And so then we move to the one place where more tourists come during fall to see the fall colors than any other time of the year. And it's I just we've been here 6 years and I just can't get over how gorgeous it is.
Yeah. I mean, looking out the window here right now, which you can't really see the colors on the mountain, but it
What are you
looks
talking
it
about? There's a
almost
mountain right in front of us.
no, I mean I'm talking about the detail. It looks like the top of the
Love
mountain
it
is
when Timmy
already
gets
turned.
poetic in the morning. He's had his what do you call them? His
I am.
Kellogg's.
I, anyway, I wasn't saying anything.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm done.
You wanted to be really
No, we were
inspirational,
driving
didn't you?
yesterday, and I was looking up at the top of I guess
The
what's
ridge of the
that
mountain.
big mountain over there?
I'm not even going to try to guess.
It's
That's a
the
Smoky
Smoky
Mountain
Mountain
National
National Park.
Forest.
Forest. Yeah.
And
Anyway, it looks like it's already done its thing, and it's turned. It looks. I mean, it just looked like it was all one color, way up at the
oh,
top.
that might be peak over there. I don't know.
Yeah, it might be pink.
All I know is it's beautiful.
Anyway.
And I wish y'all were here to join it with us. The scenery.
Yeah.
But bring axe and stuff because we're gonna working on firewood. So anyhow, today's title. I did prepping
Yeah.
for what's to come. Y'all, we got 10 days, right?
What's to come?
The election.
Oh.
And this is the thing, y'all. We have there's just so much misinformation, first of all. Second of all, if you're watching the news and you're a patriot, you should only be watching it so you know what the left is up to. You shouldn't be watching it for a news source. You know that, right? Just in case you didn't know. Second of all, is you have people, parties on both sides that are just expecting the worst. And some part of me, just a little part, is thinking, waxes. Love it when James put wax. Some part of me thinks not a whole lot's going to happen. And not that there's going to be an election, there's going to be declared a winner or a loser or what have you. There's going to be people that are happy, there's going to be people mad on both sides.
Yep.
There ain't nobody, there's not one solution that'll please everybody, not one. And there'll be people that are very unhappy and very upset. Either way it goes. But then I think that life is going to go on. Some part of me. I don't think it's going to be this mass chaos. Some part of me, right? I keep saying that because I want to reiterate, going, wait, aren't we watching people that live off grid and homestead and prep? Yes, you are. You're having coffee with us. You ain't watching us. You're having coffee with us. It's not a show. We're just chit chatting. But there's the other part that we've talked about for a long time is prepping for peace.
That's right.
And that is for any situation like the floods that just happened. And Lord bless, if we were in that situation where we would have been in the danger, harm's way of the flood, no solar panels, no goats and chickens and pigs, no canning supplies would have saved us from that situation because it just wiped everything out in its path. So there are times where prepping, other than your state of mind and being resourceful and resilient and flexible and having faith, is going to help you during a situation like that. However, outside of natural or unnatural disasters, we encourage everybody to prep. So in the midst of chaos, you have peace. Now, what kind of chaos will show up over the next 10 days or more? It could get ugly. It could get really ugly. It could get, I mean, they're talking riots, they're talking blackouts. That's the biggest one right now. There was a Q post, if y'all are familiar with a Q post, that talks about 10 days of darkness. And every time the lights flicker, all the all the tinfoil hat wearers are like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they're excited because just like we're excited as Christians and believers for the rapture to happen and Jesus to come back. It's not that we want the world to perish. It's we want things to be better and we want to be with God and that 1,000 years of peace on earth. Good morning, Linda. How are you, honey? Um, that's why sometimes you'll see the people get excited when they see a sign that's been predicted come to fruition. So they are saying one of the Q posts is like, so we got 10 days till the election, that it's going to be 10 days of darkness. Now you've also seen articles and the news, the real news. I call it real news. It's not real news. The mainstream media.
So is the 10 days of darkness kind of metaphorically speaking?
Who
Or is
knows?
it,
Some people are saying that it's internet outage. Some people are saying that it is, um, power outage.
mhm.
And then there's others that we're just throwing anything at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Well, yeah.
It could be that you just don't hear from somebody for 10 days that
Yeah.
you're supposed to hear from. Um, there's no telling. But the thing is, it's one of those things that you should prepare for just in case. Because like here, for instance, during the winter time and even down in South Carolina, anytime the wind blew hard, we would lose power when we lived at the beach. Anytime. Around here, same kind of thing. And you lose power sometimes for days because this power grid system, what is very fragile. Not only that, ours is pieced together. I mean, it looks like some redneck engineering got out there with a bunch of duct tape, just like put pots together. And if my friends are watching that work for the electric company around here, I apologize in advance, but you know this to be true. They do a very good job. It's no fault of their own. I wouldn't want to navigate around these mountains with power lines and everything else.
No.
But you have to prepare. And other things that, when they're calling for violence, either predicting it or planning it, one or the other, that's something that you need to be acutely aware of. Um, hey Steve, how are you? Steve, you can chime in on this, my law enforcement officer friend, prepper, brother in Christ. So, Steve, you and Mary Lou, what you got playing? What are you guys predicting for what's to come in the next 2 weeks? What are you guys prepping for?
Prepare for the worst.
Or anybody, Sherry, Jock, Linda, Benjamin, y'all chime in. And how to do that? We've been doing it for quite a while now. We keep trying to up our preps. Like for instance, right after the hurricane hit, and we thought that the entire shipping union was going to go, or the ports were going to go. They shut down for 2 days. Thankfully, it was just 2 days because we would be in mass chaos right now had that continued since September 29th or what have you. And so at that point in time, we started asking in our groups, what are some things that you wouldn't think of to prep? We're like light bulbs, oil filters, saw blades.
KP.
Every time I get concerned, I buy a 25-pound bag of rice. I bought 2 yesterday. Steve, that brings to mind, I just wrote an article on how to get rid of weevils and prevent weevils in your flour. Do y'all freeze your rice before you store it to prevent the bugs? Because that's a big thing with food preps. I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but we sell our products at a store in Wares Valley and Pigeon Forge. And they also sell, she's real good friends with Popcorn Sutton Son and that whole group from Moonshiners. They come in her store often and do public signings and all that. She sells stills there and they teach classes on how to make moonshine. And she sells all the grains. Well, I went in the other day to get some of our products out and she had garbage bag, 55-gallon garbage bags just tied all over her store. And I thought they were donations for the hurricane victims. I'm like, hey, what you doing? She goes, "Oh, all of our grains got those weevils." And she says, and now they're not even 2 months old and now they're useless. So I'm giving them to a farm. They said they're going to use them for their livestock. And that's because, well, she doesn't have the ability to prep them properly ahead of time to prevent that. Because no matter if you guys have a brand new thing of flour and it's sealed or what have you, the bugs, the larvae is already in them. So if you don't do something to kill those, you'll get it. Doesn't matter how good you store it. I vacuum seal it and put it outside in the cold winter for a couple days. There you go. You need to freeze it for 48 hours, minimum of 48 hours. And then you make sure that you vacuum seal it tight so no air, moisture, humidity can get in there to hatch those eggs. But
So we had some rice that we put in the freezer. We put it in a Ziploc baggie. We took it out, and we didn't put it in
we didn't seal it.
more uh, a better container.
We didn't vacuum seal it. We didn't suck the air out.
Yeah, and then I was going through some stuff one day, and I found that bag of rice, and I saw holes in the bag.
The critters ate from the outside in.
Yeah, and
you
they
need
got
to
in there.
Store it in a glass
Yeah.
container.
But they are determined.
Vicious.
Yeah.
They're hungry. But
so
hang on, I'm getting some more coffee. Do you want to touch
you gotta have good containers, and because even though you might kill the larvae or whatever, what's in there,
the stuff in your pantry that's already in there, they'll get in.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I bought over almost $50 worth of einkorn organic flour, and it's still in the plastic bag and in the plastic sealed bag inside of it with the individual. Hadn't even had a chance to use it.
Weevils.
Went and looked at it the other day. Weevils. I wanted to cry.
Yep.
I then put them in totes or sealed plastic buckets. Yep.
There you go.
And so many people, their food preps and everything go bad because of bugs, because they don't seal it properly and all that money wasted, and then they're discouraged, and we don't want to see that. So maybe we'll talk about proper food storage and rotation and everything here in the near future. But as we make mistakes all the time, you get complacent, you get lazy, you're in a hurry, you just pop it in the pantry and off you go.
Yeah.
Then you forget about it till you go to use it and it's full of bugs.
Yeah.
And you got two choices at that point in time, three actually. You can sift the bugs out and call it a done deal. I mean, they're in there all the time, whether you like it or not. You can give it to your livestock, or you can toss it or make good use out of it anyhow.
Well, a lot of times we get complacent and we buy stuff and just put it in the pantry, and it gets pushed back a little bit and something else goes in front of it.
We get lazy. Yep.
And then it's like, this ain't any good anymore.
Yeah, food rotation is kind of an important thing, especially when you're prepping. But so anyway, so some of the other things that you might want to consider prepping right now, if you have the ability to, are prepare for peace, because of the war going on right now with Israel and Iran. It's not very good. There's been some more bombing yesterday, and that has a direct effect on our gas prices here. So even though it's not one of those zombie apocalypse, there's still things that go on in other countries that greatly affect us here. And you can either, if you got deep pockets and don't need a lot of gas, and you don't mind, then don't worry about it. But if you're like us and you're budget minded and you rely on gas for your way of living, I would suggest getting a couple gallons and putting it back. The good stuff, not the rot gut stuff, and get you some gas treatment too. What?
The rot gut stuff.
Well, we always use the rot gut because we're always broke. You got to get the good stuff.
Oh man, you mean that corn gas?
Yeah, corn gas. And then try to conserve on it, but put you some back, store it safely. Do your Google search on that, y'all. Don't want to sit there. Well, Amber and Tim told me to store a bunch of gas, and then my shed blew up.
Don't listen to me. I lead you down the wrong road. Stuff like that.
But that might be something that you want to do. You should always, regardless of what you think the situation is, have at least a minimum of 2 weeks worth of food at your house for everybody in your home, and water. At least. If you don't have that, after we're done having coffee, head on over to the Dollar Tree and get you some. They sell grains, they sell popcorn, they sell rice, they sell beans, unless you got like a save lot or something. Take $10 and fill a little buggy. Yes, you can fill it with for $10 with that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
I mean, you might only get 7 things, but it's 7 things that you didn't have, and you get a pound of beans for $1.50 or $1.25 or whatever. That'll be a couple meals.
Yeah, and some smoked ham hocks.
I said $10. Store your water. And these are nothings to prep and fear, y'all. That's one thing that kills me. It's like, I don't like to fear monger. I don't like. The Bible says 365 times, do not live in fear. Put your faith in him. But he doesn't tell you to be stupid. He gives you the Holy Spirit in a gut for a reason.
So you act on it. Yeah.
So you act on it.
Yeah.
I'll say this over and over again until you all hear me say it, until we're not having coffee with y'all no more. There's this meme out there that says, don't be praying for a hole while you're leaning on a shovel. So, God ain't going to do all the work for you, right? 25 bag of rice at Sam's Club for $13.
That's a lot of rice.
That is a lot of rice. And that's a lot of carbs. And that's a lot of energy in a bag right there. And it's a lot of meals, So it might be the same boring thing every time, but you'll have them. And we've got several of I bought another thing of half-gallon jars yesterday. We did when we went to Wally World. And $11 for a case of half-gallon jars. And you can put a couple pounds of beans and rice in each one.
Yeah.
Seal it, and it's good to go. Just store it in a cool, dark place. If you don't have, and that's another thing with your canning jars. If you've got canning jars or containers, put your water in it. You can water bath can water and seal it and store it. And it's water storage for months and months and months and months. And then when you feel there's no imminent threat and you don't need it, or you need to rotate it, open it up, drink it, use it for cooking.
Bath water.
Yeah, water bath water. It's just preserving your water for future. It's like canned air.
I didn't know.
It's not like canned air. It's actually usable.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, pressure can your water.
I didn't say pressure can. I said water bath.
Well, water bath it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You just blew me away.
Well, we don't do it because we do rainwater collection. We have our filtration system, and we're always storing water. Like, we have thousands of gallons of water around here, and I use my jars for grains and beans and stuff. So it's not that I don't feel the need to. We just do it on a much larger scale. But if you're in an apartment or you're in a home with limited storage, or you haven't even prepped water and stored it, that's a way to do it. So I'm just giving you options.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
The other thing with days coming for prepping for peace is to be acutely aware of your surroundings. And this is something that our children are extremely guilty of, because they're always so lax in the most precarious situations, in crowds and everything. You should always not live in fear, but be aware of your surroundings. Be aware when you walk in the room where the exits are. Be aware who's coming and who's going. Be aware of that person that's sitting by themselves that looks a little uncomfortable. Just be aware. And it's very smart. Don't always have all your hands full. Have one hand full and the other on your your everyday carry, or on your keys that you can hold them properly between your two fingers. These are just things that go back to that I used to teach when I taught women's self-defense back in the early 90s, late 80s. And it's still good.
I know.
Don't be saying that. I'm not taking credit for that. I am not taking credit for that. Steve, you can chime in here if you want to, honey. As far as that goes, now we do go to a prepper group, and unfortunately our location is gone. Like, it's completely gutted. We lost it in the flood. But this summer, we're thankful that when our leader, who is retired military with over 30 years, had a class on this about, situational awareness and about
Yeah.
where to sit when you go into the building, how you keep an eye on both of the exits, where do you face, what to look for, even in your car at a stop sign or a stoplight, where to park when you're at a grocery store, to park under a light. Make sure that if there's a van, a panel van, especially, or a vehicle next to you and you can't see inside, don't get in the driver's side, go around, get in the passenger side, crawl over. All of these things are very good tips. And if you want to chime in, please do to share your knowledge with everybody else having coffee with us.
Yeah.
That will keep you and your family safe. It's not being paranoid, it's being smart, y'all. It's
Yeah.
prepping for peace.
Yeah.
And there's another thing, y'all. This is cold and flu season. That's one thing that knocks us on our butt more than anything else. And that's something that you should prepare for. How do you do it? Make sure that you have a contingency plan to help you take care of your daily chores if you get sick and can't take care of it. But
Oh man, it's so hard on living on a homestead and getting sick and still having to
haul
do your
water,
chores.
chop
It is
wood, take care
tough,
of the
man.
livestock. There was one time, this was when the big C first came out and it hit us really, really hard. We were all sick. And I was laying on the couch going, I don't care if they all die. I felt so bad. I didn't care. I didn't want to get up. I just knew I was done. And we made it through. Here we are, 3, 4 years later. But at the time, that's how bad I felt. It's like
Yeah.
they can starve. They don't care. Isn't that horrible?
Wow, you're probably going, well, if they're strong, they'll survive and
And they did. Ain't nobody died.
eat some acorns.
They hungry enough. They can all jump the fence.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so, cold and flu season. Nobody plans on getting sick. It just happens. So what should you do during that time? You should prep enough funds to pay for your bills at least for 2 weeks until you can get better and get you another paycheck, if at all possible. I know that's really tough to say and do.
Yeah, I know every time we come out of a store, Amber goes, don't touch your face. Do not touch your face.
Oh yeah,
Here,
because of
put
the
this on.
germs. Every single
Don't touch your
time.
face. Because I'm doing like this. I'm like,
And if
don't
y'all are
touch your
using
face.
store-bought hand sanitizer, just don't. That's hurting you worse than you know. It's killing your good bacteria as well. That helps fight the bad bacteria that comes in contact with your skin.
Yeah, use some kerosene.
We use thieves oil. You can do a thieves blend. You can Amazon it for less than $10. Some of the grocery stores even sell it over there where essential oils are. You can make your own if you look up the ingredients. They're antibacterial, antimicrobial, antiviral. It's what we use, and it smells good too because most of them have cinnamon and clove in them, amongst other ingredients, but those are always the top two. But yeah, plan for, having during the sick time because this is the season on top of everything else we got going on. And by doing that too, have your healthy protocol. What do you use to feel better when you're sick? Get it all together, put it in a box. Like I said, have a contingency where somebody can help you come and take care of your livestock or your homestead or even cook you meals. Make yourself some freezer meals. Have 2 weeks of food. If you are the caretaker of your home, make sure that there's stuff in place that the rest of them can function without you for a couple of days. I watch about everybody most of the time. I never sit with my back to the door in a public place. People need to keep their face out of their phones. And that's the truth, Steve. That is these things.
Yeah,
Don't even take them in the restaurant with you,
it's a
y'all, or into
distraction.
public places.
It is a natural distraction now for people. They're so used to they get somewhere. If you look around in public at the people that sit there on their phone, it's amazing
It's
that
sad
yeah, the things that could arise
that they'd
and
be clueless about.
that they would just be, oh well, yeah, oh
There's this comedian that we watched the other day, and he goes, I was in line. He goes, for a movie or something. I can't remember. He goes, and there was a person in front of me that wasn't on their phone. I called the cops. He goes, what kind of activity are you up to? Why aren't you on your phone? Don't you know this is a long wait? And it was a joke. It was a play, but it was like,
yeah,
it was sad at the same time. Yeah, never have your back to the door. I never ever sit with my back to the door. I can. We did one time. I sat somewhere and my back was to the door because that's somebody else took the other seat. And like 5 minutes of sitting there, I'm like, no, can't do it. I said, y'all need to switch with me.
Yeah. So the days of going in the restaurants and seeing somebody sitting behind a newspaper, I think if you saw that, you would just be
Oh, you
probably
still on the phone thing, ain't you,
blown
honey?
away. Yeah.
Okay, well, go ahead.
No,
You can ride that pony.
no, it's just, people don't read newspapers anymore. And you go into a lobby, a doctor's office or something, they've got magazines.
Don't touch those.
You don't, yeah, well, you
Touch those.
because everybody else has touched them, but yeah, you don't see stuff like that anymore. Everybody's into their phone, and it's got them so consumed that if something happens, you're probably gonna be the last one to know.
Are we off the phones
I
yet?
think we're off the phones.
But yeah, that's so we've got again in because I know y'all got a busy Saturday planned. We actually have I love my Saturdays, y'all. And I love my Sundays because I don't have the truck company that I work for on Saturdays. I do have my other clients that I work for on Saturdays, but I feel a little bit more free with my time on Saturday. And I want to process firewood today. Timmy, we got Starlink. Y'all, we got Starlink. God bless Elon Musk and all that, because I'm telling you what, without that, there's so many of us that wouldn't be able to have connection. And we're one of them. We wouldn't be able to have it. So we're very thankful for that. But he's going to mount it on the roof today. Since I'm not going to have to work online, I have that small window where we can disconnect the internet and he can put that up. And we're going to process firewood. Right?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on the roof and hope it stays there with we get 90.
Let's go to that real quick, y'all. Professions of the mouth, okay? Remember we talked about if you joined us for coffee a couple of weeks ago, and I heard this man say it and it just rings so true. It says Satan can't read your mind. Can't read your mind. The only thing that he knows about you is the stuff that you tell him. So watch the professions of your mouth. Whether you're talking to somebody else, talking about bad things that could happen, talking about your children, watch what you say because you're putting it out there and your tongue is very powerful. There's a lot of scripture about that. So you can look that up as well about what we can do with our words. And so you got to be careful what you say.
That's right.
You don't want to speak that negativity out there. That's
Yeah.
just, we got power in the word. There's power in that. That reminds me of old hymn. But anyhow, that said, is y'all keep your eyes open. We only have a couple more weeks, and then we'll know one way or the other which way this rock is going to roll. That's not, I didn't mean that as something funny. It was just something that came into
Yeah.
my head and what to prepare for, but prep for peace so that you can have it in the midst of chaos. Remember to put your faith in God because at the end of the day, it's all going to be okay no matter how much you stress about it. And help pass that peace on to as many others as you can during the situation. And it might not even have to be election related or hurricane related, but you can be that voice of peace and hope to those people in your life that need it. And you can be that person because you have faith and you know to put your trust in God.
Yeah, we need to be those people.
We don't need to be the people, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. Don't let me hear you say you're scared. Don't let me hear you live in fear because that's not what we're called to do. And if you truly feel that way, talk to us, chat with us, send us a message. Let us, help carry your burden so you can come out of that fear and go into that place of peace where you are comforted. I mean, we can't solve your problems, but we know who can. You ready to call it a day?
Let's
No, a morning.
call it a morning, and I got to go up on the roof.
And we'll see you guys next weekend, okay? Have a good day and thanks for joining
Thanks
us
for
for
watching.
coffee.